Have you always loved the look of sleek knit stitches, but prefer the comfort of a crochet hook? Well, darling, have I got a stitch for you. This is the Tunisian rib stitch, also called the Saloniki stitch. This textured masterpiece is easier than it looks and ideal for crochet cardigans, scarves, and even cozy throw blankets. Hi, I'm Tony, the crochet designer behind TL Yarn Crafts, and I am so excited for you to grab your hooks and learn something new with me. Now, if you're excited too, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for even more delicious crochet inspiration. This video is one of many helpful tutorials to accompany the Tunisian Snowy Sampler, a gorgeous 20-block Afghan that teaches new Tunisian crochet stitches and techniques with every square. To get the row by row instructions for this square and find out how to make the entire sampler blanket, visit the link in the description. Well, howdy there, beautiful stitchers. I hope you're having a fabulous day and ready to get into this rib stitch with me. Okay, I've got two colors and my crochet hook. I'm using a 6mm hook and DK weight yarn for the tutorial in case you're curious and want to stitch along with me. So you want to grab your first color and we're going to make our foundation. Now we need to make our foundation in a multiple that is any even number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. I'm going to go for 26. Just be very careful when you make your foundation chains that you don't make them too tight. So when you yarn over and pull through, don't put too much tension on this working yarn or it's going to give you really tight chains. We need loose chains because we'll need to work into those later. And if they're too tight, you're going to have a heck of a time getting into them. So if you take a look, mine are nice and stretchy. Nice deep V's going on there. You should be able to move and stretch your foundation a good bit. And it does also help that I'm working with a very stretchy and lofty merino wool. So go to whatever even number you want to. I'm going to get myself up to 26 and then we're going to jump into the tutorial. Alrighty, I've got all of my foundation chains ready. Let's get into the actual Tunisian foundation. Now, when we look on the front here, we have all these beautiful golden V's. It looks like a row of wheat. It's gorgeous. Now, as pretty as those V's are, we don't really want those. What we're going to do is we're going to flip our chain over and it's going to expose this back channel of bumps that are running down the middle of the back of our V's. That is what we're looking for. So we need to find the second chain from the hook. So this loop on our hook does not count as a chain. Here's the bump of the first chain. Here's the bump of the second chain. Are you seeing that? First chain, second chain. We're going to insert our hook into the back bump of that second chain, yarn over and pull up the loop. And we're going to do that for each of our back bumps all the way down the line. It really does help to have a nice sharp crochet hook to easily get underneath those loops, but take your time here. This is not a race. It's a marathon, not even close to a sprint, my dear. So we're just inserting, yarn over, pull up the loop, and we keep that loop on the hook. And we're just going to do that for each chain down the line. Just a couple more stitches here. This last one is always a little fiddly, so I have to get my nail involved, but there we go. We've got all of our loops. Now we know we did it right if we have the same number of loops on our hook as the number of chains we started with. Now I started with 26. I'm going to give it a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Whew. That would be really embarrassing if I got that wrong. Okay, but I got them all. And now we just need to do our standard return pass. Now here's how that works. And it's the only time that we're gonna do that throughout this entire stitch. So we're gonna yarn over and pull through one loop to start, just like that. And then we're gonna yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now, if you have trouble with this, notice that I like to push the 2 loops that I'm pulling through up towards the head of my hook. And I'm also gonna hold back that 3rd loop so I don't accidentally catch that. So that's my trick for going pretty quickly through my return pass is I just kind of feed the loops up to the top of the hook because that hook's going to go where I put it. And if I put it under 3 loops, it's going to go under 3 loops, but I only want 2. So I'm putting it under 2 loops. So yarn over, pull through 2, 2, and 2 again until we have just 1 loop left on the hook. Just like this. Beautiful. Now we can jump into our rib stitch pattern. So let's jump into our rib stitch pattern, and this setup row is a little bit tricky, but I promise you if you can get past here, this stitch is so satisfying and fun. And this setup row is not even difficult. We just have to pay attention, okay? We can do that, we can manage. So first loop on our hook counts as our first stitch. We're always skipping this very first vertical bar, and we're gonna simple this next stitch. So we're gonna insert our hook from right to left, just under the front vertical bar of that stitch, yarn over and pull up the loop. So next we need to Tunisian full stitch the next 2 spaces. So the first space is going to be the space after the stitch we just worked and before that next stitch. So we're looking for this space right here. We're going to dip our hook down into that space, pushing to the back of the work, yarn over and pull up a nice tall loop. So there's our first full stitch. And now our next full stitch is in the following space. So it's the space after this stitch. So it's going to be right here. Another full stitch goes there. And that's the repeat across. Simple one, full one, full one. Simple one, full one, full one. Okay? So simple the next stitch, which is directly after the space that we just did our full stitch, and then full stitch each of the next 2 spaces. So the first one is here. Next one is here. Simple one, full stitch in the following space. There's 1 and full stitch in the space after that, and 2. Simple stitch the next stitch, which is here. Full stitch the space, so just after that stitch we just worked, right into that space, and full stitch the space after, so skip the stitch into the space. Simple one, full one, full one. Simple one, full one, full one. Please note that I am not splitting the stitch here. I'm not doing knit stitches. I'm doing full stitches, which is pulling up a loop in the space. Okay? Simple one, full one, full one. 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 Just want to kind of guide you through this because it's a little tricky on this first row because everything looks the same, but I promise you if you do it right, you'll end up in the correct place. I have 1 more full stitch and it goes in the space before my edge stitch there. Now I need to just work my edge stitch, but there are a couple loops that I need to grab and I want to make sure you get the right ones. Now, for our simple stitch, right, we've got this nice tall bar. That's what we've been working under. But since this is our edge stitch and we want to make sure we have nice clean edges on our work, there are actually 2 loops on this edge stitch we need to find. So we've got that nice tall vertical bar sitting up on the very edge of our work, but I'm also going to turn my work towards me. And if I look on the back, I've got this little loop right here. If I can grab it. This I call the shadow. So on the front is that tall vertical bar, flipping the work towards me, this little loop right here, this is the shadow. And I call it that because it sits right behind and is half as high as that tall loop there. So I'm gonna use the tip of my hook to get under those 2 loops at the same time. Here, watch this. Using the tip of my hook, I'm just gonna dip down, grab that front bar and the shadow, both of them, insert, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops to complete. So what you're going to notice is you have way more loops on your hook than the number of stitches that we started with, but that's okay because on our return pass, we're going to do something a little bit different and it's going to get our stitch count back correct. Okay. So we're going to yarn over and pull through 1 loop to start. And here's where things get a little bit different. You remember last time we just yarned over and pulled through 2 all the way back. This time we need to yarn over, pull through 3, 1, 2, 3, followed by a yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2. And we're going to do that all the way back. So yarn over, pull through 3, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 2, 3, and 2. And what this does is that yarn over, pull through 3 actually acts as a decrease. And some of the full stitches we did acted as an increase. So those 2 cancel each other out. So it gets us back to our correct number of stitches. We're going to yarn over, pull through 3, then yarn over, pull through 2, and we've got 2 loops left. And we're going to yarn over and pull through those last 2 together. So this is what things look like so far. So we can start to see these little clusters that we created by the yarn over pull through 3. And then our simple stitches are here left over from the yarn over pull through 2. Wonderful. So we're just going to actually repeat that one row over again. So simple 1, full 1, full 1. But as you can see, things look a little bit different. So let me make sure you're putting your hook in the right place. Okay, so the first loop on our hook, as always, counts as our very first stitch. That is the rule, the golden rule that does not change. So we're skipping this very first vertical bar. So we're going to simple this next stitch. So this vertical bar right here, simple 1. And now we need to full stitch in each of the next 2 spaces. Can you see where those spaces are? Okay, so this is the simple stitch we just made. So our first stitch is here. And the next stitch is on the other side of this little cluster. It's right here. Okay, so simple in that space after the stitch we just made. Kind of skip this collection of loops. We're going into the space after it. And that is the repeat. Simple 1, full 1, full 1. Here we go again. Simple stitches here. We can tell from that nice clear vertical bar. So we're going to simple that stitch. Full stitch in that first space. Full stitch in the following space. Simple 1, full 1, full 1. Simple 1, full 1, full 1. Isn't that so therapeutic? It's so easy. Once you get the hang of it, and like this stitch, once you get a bit of fabric to it, oof, it's beautiful. You couldn't tell me this wasn't knitting. Full 1, full 1, simple 1, full 1, full 1. Simple 1, full 1, full 1. There we go. Simple 1, full 1, full 1. All the way across. And we should end up in the space before our edge stitch. Let's make sure we get there. Full 1, and we full 1 in that space right before the edge stitch, right there. And then we work that edge stitch, grabbing those 2 loops and pulling up the loop. Beautiful. There's what it looks like. It's coming along. That rib stitch is starting to pop out already. Okay, yarn over pull through 1 to start the return pass. And then remember that after that yarn over pull through 1, we're going to yarn over pull through 3. 1, 2, 3. Followed by a yarn over pull through 2. 1 and 2. And then 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and 2. All the way back. So there's 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and 2. If you ever lose count on your return pass, I mean, I'll be honest, I just do the row over. Ooh, see? And I lost count somewhere. Okay, let's see if we can get it back. Super quick. I made a boo-boo somewhere right here. I can see it because you can see these clusters are sitting on top of the other clusters. That's what we want, but I lost it here. You can see it's off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and grab the vertical bars of my stitches, just the front vertical bars of my stitches until I get back to where it looks like it's done properly, which is here. Okay, so we're just doing a little Tunisian crochet surgery really quick. So I'm going to gently pull my yarn back until I have that one loop that's coming out of the cluster. Oop, 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 don't go anywhere. Okay, I'll go back a little bit more. There we go. And I'll put that back on my hook. Okay, lovely. So since I'm working over my cluster, I know I have a yarn over pull through 3 next. So I'm going to yarn over pull through 3. And now I'm working over my simple stitch, so I just yarn over and pull through 2. And then 3, 2, 3, and 2. Now I have my 2 loops left, yarn over and pull through 2. I kind of love that I can make mistakes on camera because then I can show you how to fix them, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who's going to make a mistake on this stitch. Honey, it's a little bit tricky. You just got to pay attention. Okay, let's do one more row together and then I'm going to show you how to change color. All right, so first loop on the hook, counting out of our first stitch, skipping that very first vertical bar. We're going to simple 1 and then full 1 in each of the next 2 spaces. So I'm just opening my work up to very clearly find the first space here, second space here. Pull up a loop for the full 1, followed by a full 1. Simple 1, full one, full one, simple one, full one, full one, simple one, full one, oop, and full one. Okay, so I'm going to continue on down the row. I'm going to do my return pass and I'm going to stop when I have 2 loops left on my hook after my return pass. Then we're going to change color just to get a feel for what that's like. All right, meet me back here in just a bit. All righty, my dears, just finishing up that return pass and I've got 2 loops left on my hook. And look at that. How pretty. In this hand-dyed tonal yarn, bro, you can't tell me that this isn't so stunning. Okay, so we've got the 2 loops left, right? I'm gonna grab my new color because I think these are gonna look really pretty together. I don't know, you'll have to tell me. I'm gonna yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops with my new color. And I'm gonna leave my old color attached because as I continue, I'm just gonna lift it up the side of the work. And now I can jump right back into my stitch pattern. So simple one, full one, just getting that tail out of the way, and full one. So you notice, oh, let me get everybody moved where they belong. Oh, I grabbed an extra loop somewhere. Let me back it on up. I think when I went in for that full stitch, I grabbed a little bit of my working yarn back here. So just be careful that you're getting directly into the space and into the next space as well, moving all those yarn tails out the way. There we go. Simple one, full one, and full one. Lovely. Simple one, full one, oop, and full one. Okay, so for my swatchy swatch here, I'm going to be changing color every 3 rows. So I have my foundation and then 1, 2, 3 rows of my stitch in my gold. I'm going to do 3 rows in pink, 3 rows in gold, 3 rows in pink, 3 rows in gold, so on until I'm happy with the size of it. And you continue to the size that you want and then come on back here and we're going to compare notes. Okay? All right, get to work. I had so very much fun adding a bit more fabric to my swatch and oh my, I can never get enough of this rib stitch. It's so pretty. Now, once you're ready to finish, we need to bind off because you'll notice that in between all of these stitches, there's a lot of space. So we want to close up that space and also create a nice clean edge on the top of our work. There is a special bind off for this stitch that I want to teach you. First loop on the hook, as always, counts as the first stitch. So we're skipping this first vertical bar. We're going to find this simple stitch right here. We're going to insert under that simple stitch, yarn over, and we're going to pull through that stitch as well as the other loop that's on our hook. So we're going to slip stitch here. Now for our little cluster here, we're going to insert in the space before that cluster and the space after that cluster. So just like we've been doing in the pattern before, then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of these loops, just like that. So for this simple stitch here, we're just going to slip stitch. And for this cluster, pull up a loop in the space before and pull up a loop in the space after. Just go nice and slow, yarn over, and when you pull through, just don't tighten that too much. Let it go at its regular, comfortable tension, just so you don't have any puckering at the top of your work. So we're going to repeat this all the way across the line. So I'm here towards the end of my work. So I've got my little cluster here, my full stitches. So I'm going to pull up a loop in the space before that cluster and right before my edge stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3 of those loops. And then I need to finish off by creating a slip stitch in my edge stitch, still making sure I grab both loops of that edge stitch. Yarn over and pull through all of that. Then we can fasten off, pull this loop up and out of our work, and admire this beauty. Look at that bind off edge though. It matches so perfectly. It's such a clean and gorgeous bind off. If I had to pick a current obsession, it has to be this rib stitch. It looks great in solid colors. In these stripes, I wouldn't go too wild with variegated or speckled colors. You kind of start losing some of the texture, and look, we need to let this texture shine, don't we? Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial, and I really hope that I catch you in the next one. But until then, I will see you later. Have a great day. Bye.